Do you want to say it or do you want me to say it? Or should we say it at the same time? Okay. We'll do it together. 1, 2, 3. Welcome back to Screensavers. You were supposed to do it in sync.
Bye, bye, bye.
I know it's been a minute, and I know we're missing somebody today.
He's in Disney right now.
Yeah, he's in Disney.
Him. We'll give you his room number in the description.
Yeah, today we're coming at you with something a little bit different. What?
We're coming at you.
Okay, sorry, I'll say it differently. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different. It is, in fact, something you cannot view on a screen, and that is live theater. Woo!
Yay!
So, we're going to take you through our year. We saw 25 shows. 25. And a bonus thing that we might talk about. And before we get started, I just want to talk about the breakdown of all the shows we saw. So we saw 8 touring shows, 5 local or regional shows, 8 Broadway shows, 3 off-Broadway, and we saw a high school production as well.
It was our high school, so it's not creepy.
Yeah, we went to this high school back in the day, so it's not super weird that we're going to see other people's children. We're just supporting the school.
You know.
Even though they have a scandal right now, maybe we shouldn't be supporting the school, but you know. So we're going to take you through each show, our thoughts on it, and like where we saw it and all that good stuff. The very first show we saw in January was MJ the Musical. This was a touring production that we saw at PPAC. Why are you laughing at me?
I'm just saying, we started the year off with a bang.
Oh, I didn't even say. We're putting it on a tier list, as you can see. Should have mentioned that. So MJ the Musical, it was something.
I will say, good thing he's dead.
Yes.
So he doesn't have to see what they made.
Disclaimer, I already don't like jukebox musicals. This is just a thing about me. This was incredibly lazy. They put no effort into even trying to make the songs make sense within the story. None of it worked. If you wanted to see like a Michael Jackson impersonator, that's what this show is. Somehow it is one of the highest grossing Broadway musicals of all time.
It's because of him. That's all.
It's literally just because people want to go hear Michael Jackson's music, I guess. The only thing I remember liking was the Thriller sequence.
I would also add to that, I really enjoyed that they did mention bubbles, so thank goodness for that.
Sometimes we'll talk about audience behavior when we review stuff. We had, and I'll put it nicely, sort of a wacky woman in our section who was talking to herself and singing and dancing.
Yeah, she was a big fan.
But yeah, that was not great. We didn't enjoy it. This is going in D tier.
D for dead. So that's what we'll put it for.
The second show we saw, also at PPAC, also a touring production, was Life of Pi. I actually didn't know anything about this going into it. I've never read the book. I've never seen the movie. I just heard that the puppets were cool, and they were.
Yeah, this was one of my, biggest highlights of the year was the puppetry in this show. Obviously, I'm a big tiger person, so the tiger puppet was great. And they also had an orangutan puppet, which was nice. It was really well designed and, executed.
I really enjoyed the sets and the performances of the cast. I thought everyone did a pretty good job. Obviously, the puppets, like we said, were a big highlight. We had to stop for technical difficulties, but we didn't even know anything was going wrong. I think it was something with the boat. It wasn't spinning right, or something was going on. So we stopped for maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, they probably could have continued, and I bet, including us, most people wouldn't have even known there was an error going on. It was a mixture of an actual physical boat on the stage with a projection of, water around it. And then sometimes the boat itself was a projection as they were transitioning scenes and stuff.
I thought this was good. It didn't wow me though. The puppets were great, but everything else was just kind of it didn't blow me away. I did still enjoy it though. So I have this in B tier.
We have yet to watch the movie of it. It's definitely on our list. We like to, if we think it's worth our time, do that. There is actually at least one other show on this list we'll be going over that we couldn't even get through the movie after trying to watch it. Because it just didn't live up to the musical. And as far as this, I think it was really well done. You want to say like adaptation or, you know, version of it being on stage. It just seems like it fits better as a movie. Even though we haven't seen it, I could just tell because it's not a musical. There wasn't a song aspect to it that they could have played up upon that wasn't in the movie. So clearly it's going to be just like the same type of story beats, just in a movie format. And I feel like, one, obviously, like, the tiger is going to look a little better, even though it's CG, because it's a full-fledged tiger. Whereas, like, obviously you can tell it's a puppet. Puppets are still great, but I think those types of things leans it to be more like either obviously a book first and then being a movie. Like, I thought the performers did a great job at selling the story. It was, you know, I think there's only so much you could do when you're on a stage, and, you know, there wasn't really any negatives. It was what it was.
Also, fun fact about this performance, Steven passed out afterwards and caused a whole scene.
You're medically doxing me?
I was so scared. I was like, I don't know what's happening.
I was too excited about a tiger on stage, so I passed out. But I came to. I was only out for a couple seconds.
Yeah, he was fine. Anyway, the next show we saw was And Juliet, another jukebox musical.
3 PPACs right off the start of the year.
Oh yeah, that's right. This was also at PPAC. I appreciated that they tried to make an interesting story, and they did try and make the songs fit. It still didn't really succeed in that. For me, they tried, and the cast was really good, I thought. I thought it was one of the better touring casts that we've seen.
Yeah, my main takeaway from it was, oh wow, another version of Romeo and Juliet. That's so great. I enjoyed the dancing. I was a big proponent of it. Obviously, most musicals have dancing involved in it. This one was just very dance-centric as far as, you know, there were people in there that were just dancers. And I thought that was entertaining. It was good. The basis of the musical is, it's kind of like a modern, not like a modern take on it, but they're discussing it in a modern time, the story. It's modern dancing. So it's not like ballroom dancing from when, like, Shakespeare was alive. It's modern hip-hop type dancing with the Romeo and Juliet story kind of sprinkled in, and that part was like fun. Would I ever see it again? Probably not.
It's would not see this again.
At least for me, it was one of those things where I was like, cool, checked it off the box.
Yeah, it was something to see.
If there's ever like a pro shot or something, I might watch it. There wasn't anything to me that was like crazy to write home about.
Yeah.
Other than I think it was a really good job.
I think everyone was, like, trying really hard. You know what I mean? Like, everyone clearly, like, cared about what they were doing.
Yeah, it wasn't like, oh, this person sucks.
So, this goes in C tier. So, the 4th show we saw was a personal favorite of mine. We saw, a touring production of Parade at the Emerson Colonial Theater. This was, you know, a bit of a hike because this is in Boston, so it's a little bit further away than everything else. But Parade wasn't coming to PPAC. It wasn't coming anywhere around here. I've always wanted to see it because I saw a slime tutorial of the concert version that they did with Jeremy Jordan, and I just sobbed the entire time I watched that. Like, I didn't know the plot at all when I went to watch it. I was just like, oh, Jeremy Jordan, this'll be good. It's terrible. If you don't know what this show is about and you go to see it, I think it just... I don't know what's worse, knowing the ending or not knowing the ending. It's a journey. It's not just a show, it's an actual historical event that happened. You can look this up. Leo Frank was a real person who was, spoilers, murdered in this way. You know, it's Jason Robert Brown's music, so you can't go wrong there. He's my favorite. I'll say that a couple times in this because we do see a few of his things, but his music is always so, so good. I love it. We were just singing, "Where will you stand when the flood comes?" So, and I think Max Chernin did a really good job as Leo Frank. I'm glad we saw him and not Ben Platt. Boo, Ben Platt.
Yeah, boo.
Boo.
Boo, Tony Award winner. Boo.
Yeah, boo.
Boo, EGOT winner soon. Ooh.
No way.
I enjoyed it. I think I knew the ending, which I don't think it takes away because you could still watch stuff that not know the ending to per se, but as far as like something that is about an historical event, if they're going to be accurate, you obviously know what's going to happen, but the lead up to it and how it builds, I didn't obviously know. So that was cool and I think well done. The songs really, I think, tell the story, where obviously it's a musical where it's meant to do that. Obviously on here we just mentioned like a jukebox musical. We've already talked about 2 of them, and so it's such a stark contrast to see those versus this one where just a tragic event happens and then somehow songs come out of that make you feel all types of emotions. And I thought it was very well acted. I did enjoy the set. It was a nice set.
Yeah, I did like the set too.
You know, I don't know if the theater itself has limitations or they just themselves choose to kind of make it where the set is almost very little changes.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those sets where, you know, there's no curtain going down, you come up and it's all different. The main frame, the main structure of the set stays there, and you're kind of just being told, oh, what is right now it's a courtroom is then a prison cell, which is then a hill that they have a picnic on. That's one thing I've, you know, come to like about stage shows is set design and how they do that and make it work.
I mean, this is in my top 5 favorite musicals of all time for a reason, and getting to see it live was just, like, the best, even though I was crying. Steven kept looking over at me, and I was just, like, my glasses were off, and I was wiping my eyes because I was really just crying the whole time. But it's so good. I love a story that makes you feel something. So for me, this is going in S, but I know, Steven, you said it was like A tier for you.
Yeah.
So
still a really great show, but, you know, not everything is supposed to hit everyone.
The next show we saw was the high school production at our high school. They did Mamma Mia. This is our 3rd jukebox musical of the year, and we're only in March. But I thought it was very cute. I think the kids did a great job. Obviously, it's ABBA's music. I like that, so I'm gonna like the music, even if I don't really like the jukebox musical aspect of it. I think the story is like entertaining enough, but it's not really anything like mind-blowing. The one thing I remember the most was that the girl who played Sophie had such a great voice. Like, it was very clear and healthy. But I don't know, what did you think?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun show. I had never seen Mamma Mia, and then afterwards we watched the first movie. I don't think I can be asked to watch the second one.
No.
It's a fun show. Some of the songs fit, I think, pretty well, given it's a jukebox musical, and then other songs you're like, oh, well, yeah, they clearly just had to shoehorn another ABBA song. That being said, some of their songs are still great and like fun to sing, so it was fun to listen to that.
Yeah.
Given it being at our high school, it's fun to see like what a high school drama club is able to pull off.
Because when we were there wasn't really a drama club, right? Like, I don't remember there actually being one when we were there.
Yeah, and not to this extent, because like now, like most everyone who's on stage that's singing has a wireless mic pack, and obviously the lighting is pretty decent. It's a good sized stage. They had a good amount of set designing that didn't make it feel like rinky dink. I would say like the worst part, and that's not even saying it was bad, is just like the costumes, because I feel like you're kind of limited on that. It's not a case where you can do multiple showings every year and then like, all right, put it in the closet for next year when we do Mamma Mia. Like, that probably won't get touched for a while, if ever again. And so I get there's restrictions to that, but, you know, I'm not going to nitpick that in a high school production.
Right. If
we saw it on Broadway and people are just wearing, like, jeans that aren't really the character, then it'd be like, okay. But other than that, yeah, I thought, you know, the casting was fine. I enjoyed people did, you know, there's some comedy in the show, obviously, so I thought that hit pretty good.
It just wasn't, I mean, it was a high school production, so like, what are you really gonna critique? You know what, it's just like, it is what it is. I'm gonna put it in C tier. The 6th show we saw was The Tempest, or La Tempestad. Yeah. This was at Trinity Rep. I thought the concept was really interesting. I'd never been to like a bilingual show before, and if you're wondering how that works, they had screens with the translations on it, so you had to sort of read as you were watching what was going on. The screens did not always work, though. There were some times where they just cut out, and so you were just listening to people speak Spanish, and you were like, my high school Spanish is only taking me so far here. Like, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I can only do so much with context clues when nothing is happening but words.
And, like, neither of us have ever seen The Tempest before, or read it for that matter. So it's not even like, oh, I read it once, and I actually have, like, context for what's going on. It was just like, okay, we're here to see the live theater we've never seen. Like, if this was your first time watching it, I think it would have been a bad choice. I would say the performances were mostly good, but there wasn't really a real standout among the cast. Like, I remember some of the people who were in it, but that's just because we've seen them at so many other Trinity rep shows. It's not because, oh, they did an excellent job. Despite what we're saying, I did mostly enjoy it. I still think it was a very interesting concept, in that you're not really going to see a ton of shows like this. So if you did get to see this, you're like, this is probably the only time you're going to see this sort of thing. I would like it, honestly, if more shows did this and the technology improved, so it just worked better. I feel like a lot of it wasn't very, like, memorable.
It would definitely hit home more for people who are either bilingual or they know Spanish and they know the Tempest, which, you know, probably is a very niche type audience. But yeah, like you said, that's the idea of this being a thing for other shows would be very cool to see.
Yeah. Because I think you could go, like, literally anywhere with any language and do this. You could literally pick anything and it would be cool. Our seats got upgraded this time. I'll probably be inserting pictures, but our seats were here, and then they were here. We were off to the side and, like, further back, and we got upgraded to the front row almost in the center, so there was nobody at this show. It was a Tuesday night, so that was nice, I guess. Although I think sitting further back would have been better for reading the subtitles at the same time.
Yeah, it was kind of like we had to do this and be like...
Yeah.
Again, it's not... I, especially, as someone who enjoys, you know, I'm very big into Korean and, like, Japanese shows and movies and stuff, so a lot of that I'm watching it with subtitles. It was definitely more of an issue than it is for, like, a movie or show, but it also was, like, it didn't take away completely. It wasn't unwatchable. And again, if you knew the story that you were watching, it would definitely have helped. Yeah, so what? I'm not getting a direct translation, but if I'm watching, say, like, Home Alone in Spanish, I know exactly what's going on. I've seen it enough times.
Yeah.
Or if even if it was like Romeo and Juliet in Spanish, I think I would understand it more. But I just didn't know the Tempest.
So for me, this is going in B tier. I still think it was good. It was just like, it didn't exceed my expectations. Next, we saw a touring production of Some Like It Hot at PPAC. I liked the story and the music, but I usually like, the music is by Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman, and I usually like what they do. And one of the songs in this show was a song that they also did in Smash, so I thought that was kind of funny. Some of the lyrics were changed, but it's the same song. The main thing I remember liking from this is the tap dance chase scenes.
Yeah, when they were going through all the doors.
The choreography there was really fun.
I love a good tap dance.
Yeah, Steven loves tap dance. It's like his, you know, like favorite musical theater thing, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely up there.
There's not really a ton to say about this, I don't think. It was good. It just wasn't like crazy good. I still enjoyed it. This is going in B tier. Wow, we had a lot of touring productions at the front half of the year. Next, we saw Mean Girls, the musical, at Emerson Colonial. We went back. I've seen Mean Girls, the musical, before. I saw it on Broadway. The day a state of emergency got called for COVID in New York City. That was fun. But I had seen it with some of the original cast, but not all. And I liked the music from Mean Girls. I listened to a bunch of the songs, but I thought this particular production, like, the performances were, like, okay. Like, I don't think anyone really wowed me in this. My only note was, like, and I think you agreed on this, was that Damien was kind of...
Yeah.
He just did not do a very good job, I don't think. Which sucks, because I feel like that's one of our narrators for the show. I liked getting to hear the music live again. Like, I think just being able to hear the music again and have most of it be sung well puts this in B tier for me as opposed to like a lower tier, because I still like Mean Girls. I like the story. Honestly, I'm one of those weirdos who likes the musical more than the movie. I think Mean Girls the movie is a little overrated.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the music from Mean Girls. No one is ever gonna beat Barrett, so that's, you know, it's an unfair thing to put anyone playing Janice against. But I thought it was still, they did a good job. The songs were still good and like good to hear live. I had never seen it before. I've only ever listened to the, you know, the cast album. I guess, you know, the movie that had come out.
Oh, so, yes, we don't talk about that.
Oh yeah, of all of those, I thought this was good.
Yeah, I'd say this goes in B tier. After this was another touring production at PPAC, Back to the Future the musical. I feel like the only thing of note in this production was the car. Like, yeah. I don't think there was anything else that I was like, oh, this was awesome. I also heard that along this tour, multiple times there had to be stops because the car was malfunctioning. So I was very surprised that we did not have that happen at our showing.
I like Back to the Future as a series. I just never, not that I used to have thoughts before, you know, meeting you and going to live theater. I don't think anyone has ever had a thought when they were watching Back to the Future going, oh, you know what this would be good as a musical.
That's true.
I don't think some of the, because the other thing was, I think for me is I've seen the movie so many times that I know the story, and obviously a musical is going to have some changed beats because of it to fit either songs or the narrative on stage because how things are. And I know I can't remember them exactly, but there definitely were some changes that they made that I was just like, well, this is a different thing now, which is fine. Like, I'm not saying it has to be a shot for shot remake of the movie. That's the point of having different forms of art. I just look at it as like there wasn't a point for this. Like, even like, because I feel like it seemed to be a thing that was made for, oh, you happen to like musicals and Back to the Future? Well, let's put them together. This, for me, wasn't a case like, oh, they did that really good. I was like, this could have just been, this should have just stayed as a movie.
I know Broadway loves taking movies and making them into musicals. I love a bunch of musicals that were movies. A lot of them are really good, but this one is just not one of them. I feel like it was pretty just mid. I don't want to use that word, but it was mid.
You know, not to take away from anyone who worked on it, but it seemed like it was just something that, oh, we got this IP, let's make more money off of it by doing something different. Let's throw a musical out there for this, and we'll have a cool car on stage. Everyone loves 50s and 60s aesthetics. Anytime you can do a show of that nature, it's going to get people out. Again, as someone who is a fan, I didn't even go into it like that. We could have seen it on Broadway when it had come out last year. And I told her, I was like, I have no interest in seeing it. Maybe if it ever comes around us, which it ended up doing, we'll see it then because it's close by. If it had only ever been on Broadway and it was like announced it's never going to show anywhere else, I would have been like, well, it's not for me to see then.
The next 5 shows were all during our trip to New York in June. I mean, the last couple years, I've tried to go to New York like twice a year. There were a few shows that I wanted to see that I was like, we have to go in June because this show's closing and this one's opening and, you know, it'll all be around the same time and whatever. The first show we saw at the Golden Theater was Operation Mincemeat. This one, I had never heard of the real historical event before this.
Yeah, me neither.
So I learned something new. I love a good historical musical. I thought the music was great. I think it's really fun that the people who are in it also wrote it. And for me, Natasha Hodgson was like the standout performance of this.
Yeah, I think everyone did great in this. And it was like, you know, 6 people playing like 70-something roles. 5 people playing 60, 70 roles, which was really fun to see. And I think they did it very well. Sometimes when people play, you know, ensemble is one thing, but sometimes when people play
like named characters,
2 or 3 named characters, it can be sometimes poorly executed to the point where you're taken out of it a little bit. You're like, I can see the strings, and I feel like the point of most entertainment is that you don't want to, but I thought they did it like really well.
I just thought everything about this was great. Everyone on Reddit was saying, go see Operation Mincemeat. It's so good. And I was like, okay. And like but people are like, you might not like it because it's British humor. Was it the British humor might detract from your experience? Sure, I guess, but I feel like that didn't even matter. Like, I wasn't watching this going, wow, this is some real British humor. I was just watching it and enjoying the humor and enjoying the songs. Like, that didn't even cross my mind.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we really have, like, I don't think there's a bad thing to say about this. Okay, I lied. The only thing, and you'll hear this from a lot of people, is that the sound mixing in that theater is a little iffy. So there were times where you're, like, missing what they're saying. But I think you can catch enough of the words around it to, like, make up for it and still know what's going on. And that's not the fault of the performers. It's just the theater.
It's not optimal.
Yeah, it's not optimal for this. There's a lot of, like, fast singing and talking and rapping. Yeah. I still really enjoyed it. So this for us is going in S tier. Then that night we saw Gypsy. The only reason I wanted to see this was because everyone was saying Audra McDonald was so good. And I'd never seen her live before. My only real knowledge of Audra McDonald, other than that she has, like, the most Tonys, was that she was Naomi Bennett on Private Practice, and that's what I know her from. I feel like I'm a bad theater person because I don't know her from any of her theater roles, but I know her from this shitty TV show that I've watched a few times. But she was amazing. So good. There's a reason she has all those Tony Awards. Rose's Turn got a big standing ovation, but, like, I don't love this musical. I don't know what it is, but I'm not like, oh, I want to go listen to the music from this. I want to go see this again. I just don't think it's for me.
That too, for me, was just like, I feel like the main type of story it was has been told so many times, and I get it. It probably does happen a lot. You come from nothing and you work your ass off to get all this, and oh, your mother was terrible to you, whatever.
I think this is based loosely on, like, a real person.
Yeah, but I feel like there's so many of those stories that if they're hitting the same beats, it, you know, I wouldn't say it deducts points from them, but it kind of just goes, well, I've heard that before. This is nothing special. When it came to the songs, okay, songs are unique to the show, and that was good.
Yeah.
And like you said, Audra McDonald was great in it. But other than that, like, I can't really remember much just because I felt like a lot of the beats were stuff I've seen before.
I feel like if anyone else was in this other than Audra McDonald, this would have been, like, B tier. But because she was in it and she was really, like, not that she was carrying the show, because everyone else was really good in it as well, but, like, she was just, like, so far above everybody else. Like, I don't know. So that's what puts it in A tier for me. Then the reason I wanted to go to New York, even though I had heard nothing but bad things about it the last 5 years. And let me tell you, this is my favorite musical of all time, okay? My favorite musical of all time. And they butchered it. They absolutely butchered it. First of all, Nick Jonas should not have been cast in this. He does not have the voice. You could hear him... You could hear him struggling to hit the notes, both low and high. His range is, like, this big. So this is not good for this role. And I feel like the direction or the concept just wasn't good, because I turned to you afterwards and I was like, if I had never told you about this, if we had never seen the movie, if you had no background knowledge on this show, would you have any idea what was going on? And you said no.
Yeah.
The whole thing with this show is, like, one person's story is moving forwards in time and the other person's story is moving backwards in time. The only time they even acknowledged this was right at the beginning of the show. They were both standing on stage, and behind him it said the beginning, and behind her it said the end. And that was it. And then the show started. And we were supposed to take from that these stories are moving in different directions, which did not work. But Adrienne Warren was really good. She was really carrying this show.
Yeah, Nick Jonas should not be on Broadway ever again. And the biggest thing, one of my favorite things from this show, is the Yiddish accent that he does when he's talking about my boy Shmuel. And he didn't even fucking do a Yiddish accent. So what's the point? Did he ever do it? I don't know.
And this was the last performance too, so you would really think like, oh, they're giving it their all. Like, this is the last time they're gonna perform this.
Yeah, you're not gonna hurt your voice here.
Yeah.
But no, it's supposed to be like, you know, I'm old Shmuel. And he was just like, I am Shmuel. It's like, you fucking suck. That's what you are.
Yeah. And like, again, Jason Robert Brown's music, so good. I love the music from this show. But oh boy, they should have had someone else singing it. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, Ben Platt.
No. And you know what? He is going to be singing it because he and Rachel Ziegler are doing a production at the London Palladium. And it's sold out. And that pisses me off.
I bet it does.
So unfortunately, this is going in D tier. Oof, that hurts. The other thing about this is, like, nobody ever does the last 5 years. I've never seen anyone do it. So this was, like, maybe my only chance to see it live. And this is what it was. But that's the end of my rant. The next show we saw that same night was Maybe Happy Ending. This, I think, is overhyped, but it is still very good. But I think people are like, this is life-changing, when it's really just like a cute, like, rom-com type thing. I feel like the music is forgettable. I didn't come away from that being like, I want to listen to this soundtrack.
Yeah, it almost, like, I felt like the music was good, but I was like, I'm fine with leaving it there for now. And I haven't had a desire to go back and ever listen to it. I think the biggest takeaway from this was, I guess, two biggest. Like, I really enjoyed Darren Criss.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a really good job. You know, we could go into whether he deserved the Tony or not. Like, I'm not well-versed enough to say that. Definitely did good enough to be nominated, so, like, that was correct. And then also, another thing that doesn't translate to listening back to it is the set and stage design was very, very cool and very, I would say, like, high tech and well done, and was, I think, just as much of the spectacle as the rest of the show was. So that really helped me enjoy it.
Like, I don't think this should have won Best New Musical over Operation Mincemeat. And maybe that's a hot take. I don't know. I just don't think that this is better than Mincemeat. It is very good. It's just not better than Operation Mincemeat. So this is going in A tier. The last show we saw while we were in New York this time was Heathers. This is one that Steven really loves. I really love. Neither of us have ever seen it live before. We've only listened to the soundtrack. I love the music. This is another one of my top 5 favorite shows. I know it's in your top 5. It's great. We love the music. We listen to the soundtrack all the time. Performances were great, I thought. I think everyone did a really great job. I love the dark comedy, and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the changes that happened on the West End that then moved to this production, you know, like removing Blue but adding in You're Welcome and Never Shut Up Again and I Say No. But I think they really fit seamlessly, like, into the rest of the show, and it's like they were always meant to be there.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought, and again, this is through no one's fault. You can't outdo Barrett, but I thought Lorna Courtney did a really good job. I will say the one thing I do love about there being someone else singing is that I would probably say Dead Girl Walking is, like, my top Broadway song. Like, right now. Probably ever. Like, who knows what'll come out in the future. But so that was my biggest thing to look forward to, is like, how is this gonna hit? Like, how is this gonna sound? I genuinely could have been, like, the rest of the show could have sucked balls, which it wasn't gonna, but let's just say somehow the only thing they could pull together is Dead Girl Walking. Good, that's fine. Like, that's what I was looking forward to. And I don't want to say I estimated how good it would be and it, like, let me down, because I don't think it did. It never expected it to be sounding like the studio version of Barrett singing, but I thought she did a really good job. She, there were a couple changes in there that either were, like, personal or just of the night or whatever that I thought were still great. I could sit here and be nitpicky and say I hated them because it wasn't the original, but that's definitely something I've come to notice about live theater, is those types of, like, on the fly, in the moment changes kind of add to it, and they ended up being good. I'm not I'm not a huge music person per se, where like I go to concerts and stuff because of that reason of music sounding very different in person than it is studio recorded and polished and, you know, on the radio. So I was never really worried about that with this though, because it ended up being great.
This goes in S tier. There's just nothing really bad to say about it. I love this musical.
I love my gay son.
So that wrapped up our New York trip.
Why do I keep reading these spy novels? Oh, that's right.
I know, I love that guy's voice.
That was the best fishing trip ever.
Next up was Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York at Art. This I wanted to see because it had all kinds of Broadway buzz around it. Everyone's like, it's going to Broadway. You got to see it. And because, you know, it's at like a regional theater, the tickets are way cheaper than they will be on Broadway. So I think we got the tickets for like $60 or something. And there was a deal going on. There was like a coupon code. So we got them for even less than that, which is always good for me. Love when we can get a discount. I thought Sam Tuddy and Christiani Pitts did like a really good job carrying the show. I feel like when you have a 2-person show, you really need those people to be like locked in and doing the best they can. And I think they did that. It's just got like cute rom-com vibes, even if it's not really romantic. I don't know. I think that's the thing. Like everyone's saying, oh, it's a romantic comedy, but it's not really a romantic comedy. But it kind of is, but it's not. Like...
It's like hints of a romantic comedy, but it's almost like a friendship comedy with the hints there. You know, they kind of sell it that it's going to be this guy and girl and they're going to end up together and they're going to start as friends and end it as lovers. So it uses that kind of to its advantage. And, you know, I won't spoil how things go, but it doesn't, I wouldn't say it plays true to that being called like a rom-com.
Yeah.
But there's definitely elements to it.
Yeah. I would say so.
New York.
I was gonna say, like, I feel like some of the music was memorable because you keep singing that song.
New York.
Like, that's probably the one song he remembers. I also like the one, and I don't remember
I remember that part.
I also like the one where they're talking about her being on the dating app and they're like going through all the guys. Like I thought that one was fun too. But I didn't feel like the story always worked because I think they were like, oh, we want to make it a rom-com, but like it's also not a rom-com. So I feel like those elements didn't always like gel together.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm being too critical or not, but like I feel like the name is, I don't know if you want to say it's misleading.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Like, okay, minor spoilers for this, in case you don't want to hear this, skip ahead. But
they don't always carry a cake.
Carry the cake for that much of the show. You think Two Strangers Carry a Cake Across New York, they're going to be carrying the cake the entire time, but they're maybe only carrying that cake for like 15 minutes, if that, right?
I thought that was going to be a huge crutch of the show. Was like,
yes.
Oh, we gotta go we need to do this, but we have a cake with us, so how are we gonna navigate that?
And I also thought it was just gonna be, and I don't know why I thought this, because I feel like this doesn't actually make any sense. I thought it was gonna be one whole assembled cake together that they had to carry together, like, but they just each have 2 boxes, and that's them carrying, like, I thought it was gonna be some, like, weird teamwork thing where they have to, like, now we have to get on the subway, and now we have to go up the stairs, and now we have to do this, and none of that happens.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I still thought it was a really cute show. I would not pay Broadway prices for it. I've heard that this show is, like, super expensive now. But
I also did like the set. I thought it was a very cool set design.
Yeah.
I love a nice spinny stage, so that was cool. Basically, like, the whole layout was luggage, and some of the suitcases were gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
But that doubled as part of the set, and like some of it opened up and it was a bed or it was pieces
like
of furniture
fridge or like,
yeah, so I thought that was really cool.
For me, this goes in A tier. I know you said B, right?
Yeah, I would say it's like a B+, but
a B+.
For terms of the list, like I would probably put it at the front of B.
I guess I'm not doing the tier list right because I don't actually put it in order on the each level.
Some people do, some people don't. I don't, well, not that I make tier lists a lot, but I didn't put it in any specific order. Because really, for our lowest tier, I can't, I wish they were all the lowest.
Next show we saw was The Prom at the Bradley Playhouse. That's in Putnam, Connecticut. It's a cute little theater. We went there once before to see Something Rotten, and we really liked that. I'm not a big fan of this musical in general. Like, I don't remember the music from it at all. And I watched the movie when it came out on Netflix, so I've at least seen this twice in some way, and I don't remember any of the music. But I think the cast did a really good job, including the kids. They had, like, actual teenagers playing the teenagers, which you don't always get that. I don't have much to say about this. It's just pretty average, but, like, on the enjoyable side of average, I guess.
Yeah, the only thing I can remember from this show, as far as, like, songs, is, like, the When You're Alyssa Green.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And that's only because every time we try and shuffle Broadway songs on, like, Amazon Music, that will always be in there, even though we never request it. I think it's because it's Ariana DeBose that is playing that character. Mm-hmm. They kind of pushed that, and it was like a Netflix movie. So, but going into it, had I not ever heard that before, I can't say if that would have been the same thing. Same type of stuff you were saying. I thought the cast did great, and it was definitely enjoyable.
And I think, like, the costumes weren't terrible. Like, I know with Something Rotten, that was a period piece, so, like, the costumes kind of had to be how they were. Yeah, but I felt like this, it was, like, because everyone's just, like, a normal person for the most part, they were wearing normal things, or, like, what you would think those characters would be wearing. This goes in B tier. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Next, you were not with me for this next show, actually. This is Hairspray at Theater by the Sea. I went with my mother. Steven did not come with me because we had just watched Hairspray live, like, a month before, and he didn't want to see it again.
Nope.
But on that note, I've rewatched Hairspray live so many times, and I've never gotten to see Hairspray actually live. So when I saw that this was playing at Theater by the Sea, I was like, I want to go see it. This production was really good. I thought the sets were really good. I thought the performances were really good. And Nikki Metcalf, especially, she played Tracy Turnblad. I thought she did a great job. She's played the role before in, like, touring productions. And like I said earlier, I like Shaman and Whitman's music. So this is going in A tier for me. Next was one that Steven didn't like. The next show we saw was Cold War Choir Practice at Trinity Rep.
We were told there was roller skating.
Yes.
It was not roller skating. So.
And the roller skating is such, like, I feel like a big part of the story because someone owns a roller rink. Listen, I get that Trinity wants to stick with the actors that they already have. Fine. But you're telling me you couldn't teach them to roller skate? They didn't need to roller skate that much. They used rolly chairs.
I feel like the story itself, too, was just one that I couldn't care about.
I think it would have been funnier if we were alive during that time. Like,
maybe. I know enough about it that I feel like if it was better, I would have enjoyed it. I just don't think it was that great.
Yeah, I thought the performances were pretty good. Like, I think the actors were doing the best they could. But
yeah, it's nothing against I think it was a very... I think... Did they even mention it in like, the tagline or whatever, like, as it being, like, new and like, it's a brand new
it was
thing.
like it's the world premiere.
Yeah, like, this was not... We weren't watching Cabaret or something.
Yeah.
This wasn't Chicago, which is like, say what you want if you like it or not, but it's like, it's objectively something that people enjoy.
Yeah.
Enough people enjoy that it's considered good. This was something that had no preconceived notions about it because it was a new thing. I don't know, maybe that didn't help it because I was being, like, so critical of it because I had nothing else to go, oh, this show has a good performance from when it was touring in 88 or something like that.
And, like, I don't even know who the playwright is. Like, it's someone I've never heard of, I'm pretty sure. Nothing against them. I just haven't heard of their work before. So I don't know if this is, like, their first play or, like, I don't know. Maybe the next one will be better. I don't know.
All I'm going to say is if you put something on the program, I better see it in the show.
And in the marketing. MCC Theater, where we saw Shit Meat Fan, is going to be doing this. And I'm curious to know who they cast and how that goes. I'm not going to see it. I'm not going to go out of my way to see it. But I am interested to hear if the reviews of it are good or not. So,
yeah, that'll be interesting.
So this is going in C tier for me, but I know it was D tier for you.
Oh yeah, Fat L.
Yeah. The next thing we saw was an evening with Jason Robert Brown. He was at the Groton Hill Music Center, which I had never been to before. It's like an hour and a half from us, so there's literally no reason I would have ever been there. But it's a really nice venue if you ever go to see a show there. I thought it was really cute. It's kind of like a boat, like Steven said.
It looks like you're inside of an ark, Noah's Ark. It is very, very cool place.
I like it a lot. And he had special guests Sierra Boggess and Nasia Thomas with him, which they were really great. They sang a bunch of the songs. He did songs from shows we already know. He did songs from shows that aren't even out yet. He did some of his solo songs. So there was a good mix of stuff. I thought it was a really good concert. We were there for like almost 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot packed in there. He did a lot of talking in between the songs and stuff. He did a song where the children's choir who rehearses at Groton Hill Music Center came out and like sang with him. So I thought that was nice. It was nice to see him because that's my favorite composer, as I've mentioned multiple times in this video. So next was my birthday trip to New York. We saw 6 shows while we were there. Ex-Wives. That was not one of them. The first show we saw was Bat Boy at New York City Center. This I thought was a fun and quirky show. Good for Halloween, which is when we saw it. But I didn't really remember any of the music afterwards, other than Hold Me Bat Boy. That's the only one I remember. But I thought all the performances were great. They had like a really stacked cast for this. Taylor Trench as Edgar, the Bat Boy, was very funny. His accent was so funny. And just like he did a really great job with like the more like animalistic parts of it, but also being the like newly trained and like prim and proper Bat Boy.
The woman that we saw in Heathers playing Miss Fleming was also in this.
Yes, and this is actually her second time being in Bat Boy because she was in the original production playing Shelley, who's the daughter, and in this production she was playing Meredith, the mom. And Christopher Sieber as the veterinarian was so unhinged. I thought he was great. I mean, I don't think I'd see this again unless it was like done at like a local theater that maybe tickets were cheap. It was still enjoyable. It just wasn't like amazing.
Yeah. If it was a movie, I would probably have given it 3 stars.
So this is going in B tier. Next was Death Becomes Her. These next 3 shows we all saw in the same day, by the way, in case you're wondering how we jam all these in. I love fitting in as many shows as possible when we go. Steven hates it. I love it. So we saw 3 shows in one day. So at 2 p.m., we saw Death Becomes Her, which I said great sets, great costumes, great performances. I think Megan Hilty and Jennifer Samard did a really good job. I think some of the music was pretty memorable, like Tell Me Ernest. I've had stuck in my head like since we saw it. I think that's a funny song. And that was rude. That was pretty fucking rude. And I thought the special effects and stunt work were really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was an enjoyable show. We had really good seats. We were in a row by ourselves. Yeah, the one of the stunts they did were like one of them is supposed to be falling down a huge like staircase. Mm-hmm. And they had a stunt person on wires who was like constantly just flipping and rolling down.
Yeah.
They would have lightning effects and bone cracking sounds and all that. So like they were kind of like a contortionist as well. So they could like when they hit the ground at the bottom, it did kind of look like they actually broke something. So that was very entertaining.
Yeah, I thought this was just good. Like I thought it was good all around. I don't really have anything bad to say about it.
This was the one that we watched the movie afterwards.
Yes.
And I think we barely got halfway through.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
I fell asleep and then said I didn't want to finish it. The musical is really good. The movie, I know it's like a cult classic or something. I just can't. It was not for me.
Yeah.
So Death Becomes Her goes in A tier. So that was at 2 p.m. At 5 p.m. we saw Oh Mary, which is something that I have heard about. And I have not seen any of the other times we've gone to New York. Some people say the humor's really not for them. And I get that, but I was just like, why not? Why not fit in a show? Because I've heard so much about it. When we saw it, Jane Krakowski was playing Mary, and I think she did a great job, but not all of the humor landed for me. Like, I feel like sometimes it was just like, oh, she's swearing and it's supposed to be funny. And I know you said this, and I agreed with you. And spoilers for the show, although I guess it's not really a spoiler because it's historical. It should just end after Lincoln gets shot.
Yeah, they do some type of weird, like...
cabaret type, like...
like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a dream sequence or whatever, but I genuinely was like, I think while watching it was steadily enjoying it more and more, knowing it's getting to the end point because Lincoln gets assassinated.
Yeah.
And how it's gonna play out, and with the way the whole show goes, because there's no intermission. It's 80 minutes. It's very like concise, and I really was waiting for that to hit, and then that be it. Curtain call and like call it a day. So I think it constantly was going like this, got to that point, and then once we realized it was more, I kind of was like, diminishing returns. Like, there was almost nothing she could have done after that, or not even just her, that show could have done after that would have made me go, that was needed. Because that's the other thing, it's not even so much like they follow up on a story. It feels like a completely removed thing from what just happened. Feels almost like an epilogue that isn't even really a good epilogue. That kind of just, I don't want to say threw me off, but...
This goes in B tier for me. It was good, but yeah, the ending just kind of lost me. Then at 8 p.m., we saw Waiting for Godot, or Waiting for Godot, as they say.
Well, Waiting for Godot?
Or Waiting for Godot.
Waiting for Godot?
I think Jamie Lloyd's minimalism was just too minimal for this. Like, here's a carrot, there's nothing in their hand.
There's a tree.
There's a tree. There's no tree. There's just a big circle, a big tunnel on stage, and that's it. The only props are a pair of shoes. Oh, and some hats. There are some hats, too. I've never seen Bill and Ted, so I didn't want to see this for that. I was just like, oh, you know, Steven loves John Wick. Maybe he'll like seeing Keanu Reeves live. Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are not great actors. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I think their relationship kind of carries the show. I thought
they even do a Bill and Ted thing at one point.
Yeah.
I think that got the biggest reaction of the night, and that tells you exactly what this was for, was basically just capitalizing off of that.
Yeah.
Not to say they still didn't do a good job. I think, like you mentioned, that coupled with Jamie Lloyd's like directing and minimalism, all that, just... It was experimental, I think.
And, like, I really enjoyed Sunset Boulevard, so it's not like I hate Jamie Lloyd. It was just this, it did not work the way it did in Sunset Boulevard. And I thought Michael Patrick Thornton was great. He had that, like, really long-winded monologue that went on, and I was like, I don't even know what he's saying, but he's doing it great.
I don't know how he memorized all that.
There was so many words and not a lot of time. But this show is just sort of meh for me. I don't know if I just don't like this play, but...
Well, I think that, too. It's not a great source material. It seems like it's one of those things that is like, oh, but it's such a good take on this and like life and like I'm not like that sometimes with things.
Yeah.
And so this being one of those where people, you know, almost force it to be like, well, that's what it's supposed to be and that's why it's so good. Yeah. It's like, well, maybe to you, but to me this kind of is just a bunch of nonsense.
So this goes in C tier, but it wasn't terrible. Then the next show we saw was Art at the Music Box Theater. I kind of just wanted to see this because of the cast. I knew nothing about this show. I read like a brief like 2-sentence synopsis on it and I was like, yeah, that could be interesting. And so I thought that would be a good thing to see. James Corden was so good in this. And it almost pains me to say that. He had this crazy, again, another crazy monologue. He had this, like, crazy monologue where he was, like, yelling and doing all this stuff and he was moving around and, like, it went on for so long and I thought it was really impressive and funny. I feel like the play itself was a little, It was just okay. The whole premise is just, if you're not familiar, the whole premise is just this guy buys a white painting for $300,000 and then his friends clown on him for it. It's a situation no one's gonna be in.
Yeah, I think this is also kind of some, at least for me, where it was more about seeing the actors on stage than what they were acting in. I would have wanted to see them three just do a freaking podcast. So to see live theater that was going to be comedic based with them three, it was like, yeah, like that's pretty much a no-brainer. If I was seeing it for the material of the play itself, I probably wouldn't have seen it. Because I feel like if you get people that maybe aren't big names, because I feel like that's the biggest thing with plays is I don't think every single actor or actress can just do stage acting. Definitely some people that can't. Obviously, most people you would think that's how they start because you're not going to have easy access to, movie equipment, but most anyone could grab a playbook and go up on a stage in a classroom and like recite, Shakespeare or whatever it may be. I think on that sense they weren't doing anything like revolutionary, and we had already seen Neil Patrick Harris last year in a play that was comedy based. So no matter what, that part of it was going to be funny, was just them three being together.
The other guy was Bobby Cannavale, by the way. I don't think we mentioned everybody.
So it's them three together, and I think they definitely made it more entertaining than it would have been because, again, at least for us, and I feel like most people cannot understand what it would feel like to see your friend spend 300 grand on something that looks like nothing, and then that causing a tiff because he's upset that you don't appreciate it like he is. And it's like, well, that's fundamentally the thing with art, I feel like, which I get that that's probably some of the underlying themes of the show, but I'm not usually, not that I'm not into that type of stuff, but I probably wouldn't have seen this on my own. Or like if this ever came to Trinity or even freaking PPAC somehow or some local playhouse, I wouldn't want to see it.
This is going in C tier. It just was not our favorite.
Not for a lack of them trying. It was just like they couldn't pull blood from a stone.
Then we had a repeat. We saw Heather's again.
Woo!
We were looking for a Sunday night show, and I was like...
Back it up.
What?
You were looking for a Sunday night show.
I was looking for a Sunday night show, and I was honestly hoping to see Hamilton with Leslie Odom Jr., but those ticket prices were absolutely insane.
But we didn't have $1,700.
So I was like, let's see Heather's again. Why not? We both love it. We should see it again. And we actually had a bunch of covers on this time. Mackenzie Kurtz, who plays Heather Chandler, was on a leave. Carrie Butler, who plays Miss Fleming, was in Bat Boy. And Lorna Courtney was out this night. So we had Sarah Al-Bazali on for Veronica. We had Jodie Steele on for Heather Chandler. She actually played the role on the West End. Allegedly, she only had like less than a week of rehearsal before she jumped into it off Broadway. So that's pretty cool. Kate Rockwell was on for Miss Fleming, and I had seen her previously in Mean Girls, where she played Karen. But I think the standout from this performance was Sarah Al-Bazali. I had heard such good things about her, so when I saw that she was going to be our Veronica, I was actually a little bit excited, because on Reddit you just read things. If you don't know, I'm on Reddit a lot. Steven hates it.
No.
But, everybody on Reddit said she was so good, and so I was really excited to see her, and it is true. She is amazing. I might have preferred her to Lorna, honestly. I thought everyone did a great job again. I mean, what is there to say that we didn't already say? We just love this show.
Yep.
So guess what? It's going in S tier again. And then we have one final show, a touring production of Water for Elephants at PPAC. To me, the set and production was really good, but the music and book were weak. I don't know. This just was not great for me.
Yeah, again, this was, I would say, on par with and Juliet, and not because this wasn't a jukebox musical, but I took away from it that the technical acting of it was more impressive. It was very, the story of it follows kind of a traveling circus type deal, and there was a lot of acrobatics and, trapeze type things happening that were very good and very entertaining. Lindsay hates heights and all that type of stuff, so her just watching these actors on stage do some stunts were making her palms sweat, which was funny. And that's why I think in that sense it's like I took away more from like the actual stunt work of people that didn't even say a word, that were just doing the stunts of it, who were clearly like brought in to do those stunts, and not so much like the songs. And The story itself, I think, was fine. It was cool that the elephant spoke Polish, so that was cool
that
to
was
see a
Steven's
Polish.
favorite part.
Yep, shout out the Poles. But yeah, other than that, it was nothing crazy to write home about, I feel. I did like also the set design. They had some like train elements into it where they like made a train car and it was like dry, or it was on the tracks and you could see stuff going by. I thought that was cool. Would I see it again? Probably not. Like, I got what I needed from it. We have yet to watch the movie. That'll be something interesting to compare to. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it was a decent show.
I didn't care for me personally. This is D tier. I know Steven put it in C.
That's just because of the Polish aspect.
Yeah, I think Steven's heritage is influencing his decision there.
Yeah. I could feel my ancestors in me when they started speaking Polish, which I really know none of it, but I was like, I understand what they're saying.
So this is our final tier list.
Woo!
Woo! So, I mean, if you enjoyed this video, if you made it this far, let us know if you want us to review more live theater or what you want us to talk about. If we don't talk about it.
No, I was saying don't have us watch one.
Wow. We enjoyed this. We saw, 25 shows is a lot in a year. That's, how many shows is that a month?
A show every 2 weeks.
So we really put in the work. If you liked this, like it. Leave a comment if you saw any of the shows or if you liked this and want to see more of it.
Let us know your favorite Broadway shows.
Yes, let us know your favorite Broadway shows. Musicals, plays, whatever you're into. Subscribe. Bubbles. And yeah, we'll catch you next time, whenever that may be.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.